Hello everybody, this is the Gaming Cave Troll. I'm doing something a little different today. I haven't done any videos in a while, but I was asked by my professor for DeVry University for my CIS 355A class final project presentation to put it up on YouTube of the program I created with a MySQL database included. Okay. As you can see, this is actually the table that's already been created in my database, which I'm going to go to services, and I'm using the IDE environment NetBeans. You can create your own personal database in NetBeans and all the columns for it. As you can see, I have customer ID, customer name, customer address, flooring type, flooring area, and flooring cost. I am using a my application is supposed to get customer information and also the type of flooring, the area, to calculate the area of the flooring and the cost per square feet of the flooring. If I go back to this is my course project's code, but I'm going to show you the design layout of my course project. This is the JTable that I used for actual calling the database, having the database to be displayed. This is where all the information is going to be put, and this button here is going to, the submit order button is going to put the information into the database, insert it into the database as new information. This is where you get all the flooring information. Wood floorings are $20 per square feet. Carpets $10 per square feet. These are your text fields. These are text areas. And the calculate pay button will calculate all of this, but also put all the information into the submit order tab. And customer ID is for database use, easier to find actual, it's my primary key. So that way it's easier to find everything when you want to do a query. This is my text field for customer name and the address. All my database rows are varchar because it was just way too complicated to use a double. Unless you're using an index key, unless you're using a primary key, it's easier to be an integer and it doesn't have any problems with it. But apparently everything else, it had problems with my doubles, my floor area and floor cost columns being doubles, and trying to call them as strings. It had problems with that. This button will submit actually all the information from this tab, the customer information tab, into the submit order tab to be called into the so this button and the submit order tab is going to put it all into the database. Now we go back over here. When you create a database inside of NetBeans, you also have to import the drivers into the library. You just go right click, add library, and then you go Java DB driver, and you get all of these. This files for, I've seen when watching people on YouTube and other programmers teaching how to use JavaScript with MySQL and databases and JTables. They all pointed that this file wasn't normally a part of the NetBeans IDE environment, but it was needed to actually run a specific function to properly show the table, which is this one right here, to show the data from the table into the table, which is this function right here. Normally doesn't, this right here, this section does not normally run properly, or you will get an error if you do not have this file. You can download this file off the internet. It's completely safe. I've done it. So this is pretty much it helps you run the program. Now let's get into the fact of running the program. Alright, as you can see, this is my this display window, and if I go into the display some more, these are already previously submitted orders. that were in there. So they're automatically going to show up every time because it automatically links directly to the database. Now, I enter, let's say I'm going to enter 4 for my ID because I have 3, 2, and 1 already in there. And let's call him dog. Just make this simple. Nothing elaborate. Let's say 66, Mount Avenue. Let's say call it T. Let's call it T. And let's say let's put in New York. Just for all intents, just putting information in here. New York. And let's call it New York. But let's call it 88888. Okay, when I click this submit this customer information button, what it's going to do is it's going to put all that data into the submit order tab. Now, if I hit this button, it will automatically put it into the database. So we don't want to do that yet. So let's say I've done too many woods, so let's go with carpet, and let's make it 66 and 35. And when I click this, it's going to give me the area of the floor. I have it set as doubles, so it's going to show a decimal. And then it shows the cost of the flooring based on the area, based on the cost of carpet, which is 10. Now, if I come back over here, we have all that in this nice little text area. So we have this, and then if I hit this is the submit order button, it's going to put it into the database. Now, it won't update this immediately because this updates every time the program runs again. So if I were to click out of here, let's go to services, let's go to floor max to table and view data. We have dog in the database. As you can see, it's all in there. So now let's go back to my course project GUI. Run this again, and if I go over here, now it's in the database. Dog's in the database, and it displays. So one of the things is that when you are connecting and when you're creating your own database, it has a local host. This is its local host information. I have created a couple personal databases in this program for 2 different assignments. This one and another one for this class. I named them differently. I made 2 separate databases. The one thing I can say is if you have 2 databases and you're trying to switch between them, you do have to disconnect from one and then change the file location. If you're creating this database in NetBeans and you're doing it for a class, make sure that the database's location is not going to end up on your C drive or your D drive. If you have, let's say you have 5 hard drives in your computer, make sure it ends up in the folder with the main your project. That way, when you submit it to your professor, the professor can actually access the database. If it goes onto your C drive, but you say that's where your database stores, and you submit your project, the driver manager get connection will not work because it's located on your C drive. It's not located in the folder. Now, if I go into my actual file explorer, go into here, this is my course project. As you can see, this is where the database sits, and there's that file that I have in there. I just stored it in there just for giggles. And I put a readme info because I added, when I submitted my project, I already had stuff in the database, so I didn't want them reusing the same, let's say, accidentally reusing certain informations. So that's why there's a readme first, because it's going to literally tell you this is what was already pre-submitted in the database. I have submitted 2 or more different data since the actual building of the program and running the first test for the finalization of the course project. So I'm hoping if you found this interesting and something new in my channel. And Professor, I hope you enjoy this. This is a Gaming Cave Troll, and have a nice day.